Thank you for joining us on Movement Es Medicina, SuperMarkRock podcast. I'm SuperMarkRock, aka Dr. Mark A. Lopez. Movement Es Medicina is just that, a movimiento, a movement. I am aiming to motivate gente, the people, the community to build healthy habits and healthy rituals by speaking to me, gente, specifically my A1s, my hermanas y hermanos, dope, educated individuals. And while we're having these conversations, exploring their active lifestyles and mental well-being strategies, to recognize our collective dopeness in the process. Speaking of dope educated individuals, I am joined by my brother, Mr. Sean Hewitt. Gracias,
Peace,
mi
brother.
hermano.
Peace.
Gracias. Peace.
Peace, brother.
AKA a dope father, AKA a dope husband and partner, AKA an OG podcaster himself,
Oh man.
AKA a dope nonprofit and education activist and leader, AKA a
Yeah.
movement enthusiast, overall a dope, educated individual. Mi hermano, welcome to Movement Es Medicina.
Thank you.
So honored to have you with us, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. This is amazing. Um, I haven't podcasted or potted in quite some time, so I got to get my chops together. So thank you. Thank you for having me here.
We're going to bring those conversations back, man. We need your voice out there. We need your
Yeah,
voice.
I got stretched, bro. I gotta get right. I gotta get right. Yeah,
So
thank you. I
tell us,
appreciate it.
brother. Tell us who. Tell our listeners. Tell our viewers who's Sean
Mm.
Hewitt, brother. What's your story?
Cool. So I did a little bit of, because as you said, we're educators, right? So I got to do a little bit of recon. And I saw the diaspora, if you will, of responses, right? So one brother was like, I'm starting 9,000 years ago to, Mayan Empire. Yeah, that was fire. I'm,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not going back to Africa, western coast of Africa. So I'm going to keep it pretty basic. So Sean Hewitt, as you mentioned, husband, father, been married 19 years. I have two
Beautiful,
beautiful
man.
children.
Beautiful.
Um, one 24, the other 14. So perfectly, imperfectly spaced out. Um, I'm a son to an amazing set of parents. Aubrey Hewitt, my father, who is from St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. My mother, Patricia Hewitt, who is originally from Hickory, North Carolina, and migrated to Brooklyn, New York. Um, I I'm originally from Piscataway, New Jersey. Um, was born. I think this is important. I think age is important because it kind of um, gives us a timestamp of
Yes.
perspective, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm 46 years old. Um, so I was born in 79, grew up in Reaganomics in the tri-state area,
Mm.
which gave me a very interesting perspective, which I'm sure we'll chat about a little bit tonight. In terms of profession, I've kind of run the gamut. And so I've gone from working in a nonprofit arena for, wow, uh, almost 20 years and dipped my toe in and out of higher education. So I've been in higher education significantly for the past 4 years at Drew University, leading their Center for Civic Engagement. But the common thread through all of that, and in any space that I'm in, is to make folks feel seen and support people. And I want to support them holistically, and I emphasize people and put my energy into people that look like me. So the Black and Brown communities, and therefore I start there, and then I believe everybody feels served as we navigate humanity and uplift humanity. And so I also would be remiss if I don't mention that I'm a creative, right? So I started a podcast. Wow, in COVID.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
We called it Community Voices. Not a huge fan of the name to start, but a huge fan of what we did. And the idea behind Community Voices was, as we were doing this community work and serving the people, at times when you were isolated, you didn't feel validated in the work and essentially receiving a thank you the way at times you needed to when you were isolated. And so myself, a good brother by the name of Aquarius Kelly, and Paloma Gomez, while I founded it, they helped to kind of give it air and bring it to life. And we did 4 seasons of that. And
Mm,
technically, we haven't stopped. We haven't ended it. We just put it on an
that's
extremely
right.
long
That's
pause.
right. That's right. Some
So
pause. Some pause. That's right.
I think that captures most of, I guess, the foundation of who I am. Um, I'm also a brother to an amazing sister. She would punch you in my face if I didn't mention her. Huh. But I'm a lot to a lot of people,
Right.
and um, I think it's important that, as I talk about myself, at times it becomes a little
Mhm.
challenging. But as I talk about myself, that I like we celebrate those intersections along the way. So I'm
Amen.
I'm
Amen,
I'm
man.
blessed, and again, I thank you for being here. You're gonna hear that a lot.
No,
So
brother. No, man. I
yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate you giving the audience, listeners, the viewers a little bit about you, man. You're definitely a blessing. You're definitely sacred. I mean, when
Mm.
we first connected, I believe we hit it off right away, and
Hmm.
grateful for that connection wholeheartedly. So thank you for those words, and I want to
Yeah,
give the audience, I want to give the viewers, the listeners, a little opportunity to get to know you a little bit more in depth on a more
sure.
personal. I appreciate your transparency, sharing
Yeah.
your roots, your parents, where you come from, the connections to
Hmm.
familia.
Hmm.
A little opportunity for them to connect with you on a personal level. So I want to go through a few lightning round questions, if you're all right with that.
Let's do it.
All right. So whatever comes to mind, just shoot them off. All
Yeah,
right.
you
Don't give it
got
too
it. You
much
got
thought.
it.
Don't give it too
All
much
right.
thought.
Ooh,
All right,
no
brother.
pressure. All right, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Greatest point guard ever.
Ooh. Well, you had to start there. Magic Johnson.
Johnson. All right. Favorite food.
Oh, I'm a vegetarian, so it's gonna be super basic. I would say curry chickpeas.
Curry chickpeas. All right. Jazz or R&B?
Jazz.
Yes. All right. Wu Tang or Tribe Called Quest?
Oh, now again, I did recon. My man, that the brother with the Mayan
Yep.
heritage,
Yep.
he said both on one of his responses. Can if we were on Drink Champs, I would have to take a shot.
That's
Like so.
right. That's right.
um, I'm gonna I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna go try.
Right. All
Shout out
right.
to Fife Dog. Shout out to
Shout
Fife
out to
Dog.
Five. Shout out to Five. Go to pre-cycling fuel.
Ooh, yeah. So, huh. Pre-cycling, great question. I'm gonna go a tablespoon of honey and sprinkled sea salt or Celtic salt on the top. And then you have to go classic coconut water for the electrolytes.
All right. All right.
Mhm.
Favorite movie of all time.
Do the right thing, Spike Lee.
Favorite. All right. All right. Great movie, man.
Mhm.
Favorite road race you've done to date.
You said favorite. I think the most transformative, I wouldn't call it a race, the
Mhm.
most transformative experience that I've had on a bike was probably the Tour de Bronx.
All right.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
was life changing. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. AM or PM cycling.
Yeah.
AM. Favorite US city.
New York City.
Favorite favorite international city.
Oh, Madrid.
Madrid.
All
Two
right.
hype song. Go to hype song during a bike ride
Oh man.
or
During
workout because I know some folks don't listen to earphones during.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's kind of dangerous.
Right.
But during a workout, it might be Future March Madness,
Mm.
or it might be J Electronica Exhibit C.
Great
Yeah,
tracks. Great tracks. Great tracks.
yeah.
Where are you cycling next?
Um, Great question. So I'm a gravel rider.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go off road, and I'm gonna do the Delaware River Canal from New Brunswick all the way down to Princeton, which I think is about 70 something miles. Grab some pancakes and then come back.
All right. All right. All right. All right, bro. Appreciate that amount of again
Hmm.
opportunity for our listeners, our viewers to get to know you a bit, connect with you on
Yeah.
some of your interests.
Hmm.
So, first question, let's jump into it. I read
Yeah.
on a bio of yours, but you had the phrase on one of your bios that said you encourage equitable, holistic wellness, education, and prosperity.
Hmm.
Tell us more
Yeah.
about that. That's deep. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So at the risk of getting a little deep,
Mhm.
um, I was a kid that was not into sports to start. I was more into creativity. So I wrote poetry, I drew, um, was fascinated by how things worked, um,
Right.
how things came to be.
Mm,
So very much into music. Like I said, like jazz was the original jazz and rock.
mhm.
Um, and so for me, and I talk with my hands a lot, so I apologize. So for me, um, there was a moment in which my father was just like, "Yo," and I wore suits all the time, shirt and
Mm,
tie all the time. So my father's like, "Yo, bro, like you gotta get outside, man." And I think part of it was centered on, you know, I might have been a husky kid. I, w- you're kind of in the '80s we call that big boned.
they boned.
Today they might look at your BMI and you're right and ask some questions. So
Yes.
um my father's like, you gotta get outside. And so I started doing that. And it
Mm,
started with one of our mutual connections, Quentin
mhm,
MacArthur,
mhm.
and the MacArthur family. Quentin used to do like get brothers together. I think it was really his dad would get brothers together and play football on the lawn. And so because I'm the husky kid, I get the football and I'm the running back. You can't take me down. And then it transitioned into basketball. And what I was being told was I was naturally athletic.
Mm, okay.
Um, so I jumped high, I was strong, all of those things. And I think, I didn't find out until later that my father was a phenomenal athlete, basketball, baseball, football in the islands. And he didn't talk about it. He was just like, you have to be active.
Mm,
And long story, maybe a little less long. I've started playing recreation basketball for Piscataway. That blossomed into a couple of things like AAU and exposure and broadening my network. And
okay.
I also played the saxophone. So I was in the marching band in Piscataway, which was at the time like nationally recognized. Um, and for me, even through all of that, I didn't feel seen.
Okay.
Like I knew I was having opportunities, but I didn't have the confidence to say, "Oh, I might be good at these things."
Mm,
It was
mhm,
just,
mhm.
"Oh, I was invited into this space by happenstance." Like the stars aligned and boom, I arrived here. Um, and I think that translated for me into like a late bloomer where I was in college. I tore my lateral meniscus as I was,
Mm,
you know, um, trying to play college basketball.
mhm, mhm.
And it was at that right before those things were happening, I started to realize I might be good at this thing, though I was getting, I was on these stages and doing these things. And what I find is that there are systems that exist in our communities, both socially, politically, and from a policy perspective, educationally, health wise, where folks that look like us and others may be othered
Mhm.
and they're not validated and they're not seen, and that affects their holistic wellness.
That's right.
And so, if I don't believe I deserve to be well, if I don't believe that I deserve to be whole,
Mhm.
then I ain't gonna do it,
That's right.
right? So if my default setting is angry and in survival mode all the time, then that's where I'm going to operate and feel most comfortable.
Mm,
And so my goal professionally and personally is to try to see people for where they are
mhm.
and just present them with an opportunity. And then reinforce that by saying, hey, mate, you deserve joy too. So maybe you should embrace this moment. Because I didn't. Took me a long time to do that.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
in a sense, equity is not centered around equal. Everybody's experience is their own.
Right.
But if you, Mark, have access to something, then I should have access to it too, because we're two human beings. So I want
Mhm.
to present that you have a right to certain liberties. The other piece is you are an entire human. You are a whole person,
That's right.
right? And so, how do we treat that wholeness?
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do we address that? And then, from a wellness perspective, let's look at you as a whole person. So, the
Mm-hmm.
physical and the mental and the spiritual are an entire is of an entire entity. Let's explore all aspects of the self. And so that's what I mean by that. That was a very around the block answer, but it's a very complete one as well.
That's dope. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. I mean, that goes so many different directions with that response because one, similar, loved being inside, loved, I didn't think I was a creative at the time, but I loved taking things apart, putting it back together. Who knows?
Mhm.
That was engineering. Who knew
Right.
that was science? I loved it,
That's right.
man. I loved it.
That's right.
Like like you, I was big boned. Uh,
Shout out to the shout out to the Slim Fix. Yeah.
Shout out to the slim fix. That's right.
Yeah. We need love
Uh,
too, brother. We
that
need
good,
love. Yeah.
absolutely. So I loved watching sports though. I just never thought I
Hmm.
was good at it until, like you
Hmm.
said, until that validation that I felt that sense of belonging. But where did that come from? I mean, your dad didn't tell you later that
Hmm.
he was an athlete. So prior to him telling you that, where did that validation come in? I mean, what did it take for you to be like, I do belong here?
It's a great question. I think when I looked around, um, there was a moment, we were in Piscataway High School gym,
Mm-hmm.
and there were three different, it was like a round robin tournament. There were three different AAU teams. We were doing like an open gym
Mm-hmm.
situation. And um in hindsight, there were guys that made it to the league, went to top-notch D1 schools. Um, and I'm in that gym, right? And I'm in the midst of a conversation. I keep getting picked up, right? Like it was easy to like discard you if you were trash, but I keep getting picked up. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there was a moment where I didn't realize my father said I played best when I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a moment where something happened. I think I got elbowed in the mouth, and I, from that moment, scored a couple of times straight, right? And I remember there was a timeout, and I'm going back to the huddle,
Mm-hmm.
and I look up, and I'm looking at the guys that are like the top guys, right, in the area, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm in here too. That means I'm somebody,
Mm-hmm.
right? I may not be the top guy, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm in great company. Um, you fast forward a couple weeks later, there was a situation where I didn't get along with my coach at the time, so I decided that I wasn't going to play for the school, and I went like the AAU circuit. And a great friend of mine, Anson Ferguson, had acquired something was happening with the communication between the head coach and
Mm-hmm.
myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't getting my college letter, so I didn't think I was deserving. It's
Okay.
not going, this whole basketball thing isn't going to pan out. Anson at lunchtime bought me a box full of letters from recruiters.
Mm.
And so again, now there's this continuum of validation that's like, yeah,
Okay.
you had it. So you leave and you're going home, you're like, oh, that was a good moment. But now these moments are turning into like things like
Right.
this is something is happening. And I think for
Mm-hmm.
me, that's when the light switch went on that said, okay, if I keep doing this thing,
Mm-hmm.
at minimum, I'll get to connect with things and I'll start to feel better about myself.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was high school, junior high for you.
That was high school.
High school, right?
Yeah. I started playing basketball in ninth grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So there were a lot of things that were going on at the time. My mom was sick.
Mm.
Um, there were there were no school social workers at the time.
Right. Right. No.
So as a
No.
young person, I believe, again, in hindsight, that I
Mm-hmm.
probably was dealing with some sort of anger management, anxiety, depressive disorder.
Okay.
And basketball was that was the cathartic energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it took a couple of years to realize, oh, this is the safe space where there's a lot of other things that are chaotic,
Mm, So would you
even for
say,
a suburban kid.
right, brother, right, absolutely,
Mhm.
man. Would you say that's when your wellness journey began?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm lying. I would say my wellness journey began when my father told me to get my ass outside. um,
So that was the
uh,
ninth grade though. That was the ninth grade though, right?
that's not ninth grade. That's like
Right.
second grade. So
Mm,
third grade.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
no, that's like fourth grade because I'm like 8, 9 at the time. But
Okay.
I think that adds up. So, and here's why I say that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, the MacArthurs, who I mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
Quentin's father had a Boy Scout troop, and um, what he did was recruit these young men from around the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So he had like 12 to 15 guys, all black kids, all kids of color,
Mm-hmm.
in this Boy Scout troop, teaching them survival skills
Mm,
and all sorts of like life skills and hiking and outdoorsmanship.
mm,
Excuse me. So when you talk about a wellness journey, you're having conversations about, well, what do you eat? How do you cook it? How do you sustain it? How do you catch something? How do you sustain yourself when you're outside?
right. Right.
That's when it all started,
Mm,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Where my father and Quentin's dad and a number of different men in the neighborhood were trying to get us to be outside.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, as I look back at it, it didn't translate at the time, but
Right.
if I'm answering that question accurately,
Mm-hmm.
that is the pivotal moment where, oh, okay, it's important to move my body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And then again, going back to your initial response, trying to find these equitable spaces that we were trying to
Yeah.
be validated because we knew the importance. Your pops, Quentin's pops, others in the neighborhood trying to
Hmm.
educate you as youngsters. And they
Hmm.
understood the critical nature that you all need to be having these conversations, Boy Scouts
Yeah.
or not. But that was a way for them
Yeah.
to organize, of course, your peers together. This is important. We're outside, we're moving, we're hiking, we're learning about nutrition,
Yeah.
we're learning about these spaces early on. Has that
Hmm.
translated to home? Did this translate
Yeah.
to home in your fatherhood, bro?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So there is like I'm not spouting things because it's part of like some sort of dad journal. um what is effective for me and what I learned as a child, both maybe traumatic and otherwise and more positive, I try to package it in a way that helps my kids to prosper. So movement is very important in my household. No, we're not running New York City marathons like some people. Um, but it is important that, okay, you got to get up, you got to move, you got to walk, you got to stretch, you got to pray, you got to meditate, right? Like you have to watch what you eat, right? And you got to think about that in a very conscious way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Vitamins, right? Are you getting essential elements? Are you going outside
Right.
and getting that sun? What are you eating? How are you ensuring that your body is moving at sleeping, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are you ensuring that your body is um, moving and operating at an optimal level?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, one of the most important parts outside of prayer and meditation is the emotional regulation. So everybody in my house,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to be here, you're talking to some sort of clinician. You're going to ensure. Now, I'm not saying you got to be there every day,
Mm-hmm.
but you at least once a month you're having a conversation with somebody to make sure that your mental is in
Yeah,
alignment.
man. Love that.
Yeah.
I love that, bro. And
Yeah.
again, not having that school social worker, not normalizing mental wellness growing up. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe that we are the products of generational trauma
Hmm.
from what our ancestors endured. but also our
Mm.
own childhood and professional traumas that we've experienced that we navigate to this day
Yeah.
that we're healing from. So I love that you have normalized this at the core of your family, that this is what
Yeah.
you're in this house. This is what we do. This is culture. This is practice. This is,
Yeah.
you're going to talk to somebody. If it's not mom, it's not dad. You're going to talk to someone outside of a
Yeah.
prayer, outside of the prayer space, outside of the meditation space, because that is necessary. I believe that as well. But
Hmm.
we also need to speak to a certified professional, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we don't, you don't just drive your car, you put gas in it, right? Like the
Yeah.
light comes on, you're getting it checked out.
Mhm.
So why is the body as a machine, your machine, your temple, why aren't you taking care of it in that same manner?
That's right.
Maybe even more intentionally, right? So that's I sorry if I'm getting us off track. I
No, no,
remember
not at all, bro.
even
Not at all. Not at all.
here's another moment. I don't know what the catalyst of this thing was.
Mm-hmm.
My father talks about it a lot to this day. There was a moment, so there's a school across the street from my childhood home, Arbor School, that had a basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
And there, I think I was in 10th grade, and this is really when my mom's health started to decline. And I remember, I don't know what time it was, but it definitely was past midnight. I was on the court, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't sleep, went
Mm-hmm.
outside, and I was just shooting. And I shot and worked on my ball handling and did all of that stuff
Mm-hmm.
essentially till it was time to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw the sun come up,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and my father sat on the porch and watched me the entire time
Mm-hmm.
and says to me, "This is where you're at peace. So you have full license at any time you're feeling whatever you're feeling. You don't have to ask, just go." And so that set the groundwork
Wow.
for,
Yeah.
right? And then I knew my mom was very open that she was in therapy. So
Mm-hmm.
that set the groundwork for, man, it's okay to tap into or outsource additional resources to get you in a good space. So I
Mm-hmm.
just I felt it important to add that
No,
component as
yeah,
well.
it's beautiful that your pops and your mom, I mean, not only dedicated resources, but acknowledge that for you,
Hmm.
that he saw that you, what this did for you in your mental
Hmm.
health and joy. Another conversation that we don't speak about as Black and brown men, the
That's
joy
right.
that is necessary in our lives. He saw that. He says, son,
Hmm.
you're at peace in this space. It's bringing you joy.
Yeah,
You're
go
absolutely
for
go for it.
it. Hmm.
How old?
Yeah,
Again, the timestamp piece. How old was that roughly?
I was like 14, 15.
Mm, mm,
So,
yeah, yeah.
then from that point on, again, I didn't realize I was good. Um,
Mm-hmm,
but from that point on, it was like, oh, okay, I have permission to do this, then
mm-hmm,
this is what I'm gonna do. So sleeping was rough
mm,
during that time. Because the thing about the thing about wellness, as opposed to this idea of health, wellness, and this is just my thought process. This
mm-hmm,
is not, how do they say the disclaimer? These are not the thoughts of Drew University or whoever. So these are my thoughts.
mm-hmm,
Wellness provides you with somewhat of a Likert scale or a spectrum
mm-hmm.
of how you exist, whereas
Right,
health is like a quantitative approach, right? Where
right.
it's like, what are the benchmarks, right, that
Yeah,
dictate health?
yeah.
But my wellness says, okay, I can function, right? But there may be other things that are going on that I need to tap into. So the combination of the two, the health and the wellness,
Mm-hmm,
gives you an informed approach to address the thing. And
mm-hmm,
I think the health component, my mental health, my emotional health, at the time was suffering a bit,
mm.
like a lot of
Right,
young Black and brown boys, where,
right.
you know, and shout out to the parents who are doing the best that they can, including my parents and
Absolutely,
yours,
absolutely,
where
absolutely.
it was, okay, you need this thing. I'm going to put a basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is in your hand, and that'll help you to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways it did. It gave me an outlet. But the things that maybe I needed to put a name to, the health components of that stuff, I was missing that. So there was a lot of
Yeah.
anger inside of me.
Yeah.
And I think on some level, 2025, again, in terms of holistic wellness, is to ensure
Hmm.
that we are taking a wraparound approach. That yes, you can give the young person or give the person an outlet,
Right.
draw, shoot, whatever you want to do that's healthy
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
contributes to your wellness.
Hmm.
And let's give you some tools that you can apply to navigate these spaces and cope with some of the things and
That's right.
challenges that you have.
That's
And,
right.
and so I'm now in this space where I have that,
Yes.
which provides more joyous occasions.
Hmm.
And whereas when I was a younger man, um, I was challenged by that a little bit.
I feel that, and similar. I found running. I
Mm,
never set out to become a runner. Never set out to say this is the day that my life is going to change forever. And running is now my jam. Never. That was my not my story.
mm,
But I recognized early on the joy that it bring me and the medicine, the medicinal properties of movement. But running for me was it. It was my prayer. It was this time that I was at peace,
mm,
similar to your to ball for you.
yeah.
It was healing what I was going through when I started this journey.
Mhm,
And however, to your point, is that I know I needed more. I
mhm,
know as a brown man, I discovered this space later in my life, but I still had healing that I needed to do.
yeah.
I needed professional care. I needed beyond the fitness and the health and the wellness component. I needed to speak to somebody. I knew I needed additional support in that avenue. And because you hear so much that working out, fitness, that you go and relieve stress, you go and use that as an outlet
That's
to,
right.
and I learned that early on, Sean, that bro, that I didn't want my wellness and health to be that space that I turned to when I needed to release, that I was going through pain, that I was not my best, because that was a
Mhm,
space that brought the best out of me. That was my joy. And I didn't want that to
mhm,
be a crutch that, okay, I'm having a bad day. I had a bad meeting. Rose and I are going through it. I need to get out and go do something for movement. I did not want to turn to that. And so my boy, a mutual friend of Quinn and I, Wendell, who we started our running journeys together,
mm.
we identified this early on because
That's amazing.
it both brought us so much joy in our wellness and healing journeys. We're like,
Yeah.
nah, I mean, we don't want this to be that space where negativity and stress and just that cloudiness is over us. There's more
Mm,
that's needed to heal, more that we need to address beyond the health and wellness components. We do need, some other spaces to turn to lean into. So I appreciate you saying that.
yeah, super powerful what you said, probably better than what I said. Not
Right.
that we're in a competition, but um, the the other component of that, the other piece of that too, that I think is powerful, which is just being able to recognize joyous moments. I still struggle with that to this
Mm.
day, right? Something that's super, like I'll see, kids in the street and they're laughing and playing and it's joyful, and I'll start to feel like emotional and
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah.
But it's because it's not, and then I got to tell myself, oh, you're experiencing happiness, brother. Stop being so weird, right? But I think
Yeah.
I remember when my aunt transitioned, and the following day,
Mm.
this was like early in the cycling journey, right? Like I still classify myself as a beginner, but the next day, like to your point, couldn't sleep. I put on the tights, jump on the bike, and I'm riding. The sun's coming up, and I have one AirPod in, and I think
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Morale uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
came up. So that's first song, United in Grief.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the moment. I'm gonna paint the picture. I'm riding. United in Grief start, sun is coming up, and it was like through the pain, I recognized. that my body, there's this physiological reaction where my body heart rate is slowing down. Yes, there are tears that are welling up. I can literally feel the sweat, feel the breeze, feel the
Mm,
heat from the sun. And I'm saying to myself, oh, this is the new basketball.
mm, mm.
This space cannot be occupied by stress. It has to be open for you to experience it in its fullness
Love it.
because that is joy.
That's right.
Right. And that's when that was just like the moment that I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this for real.
Mm,
Yeah.
I love that,
So
man.
I connect with what you're saying.
Hmm.
Um, I do feel that you're a professional runner. Um, you know, it's like the Kenyan dude that just retired. I was waiting when he was making his announcement. I just anticipated that he was just gonna pass you the mic, right? So, but
Big
we'll
difference.
get.
Big difference. That brother's getting paid to do this.
Oh, you will soon.
He is that professional. I appreciate that recognition of, I mean, and something that stood out
Hmm.
from New York. I know you mentioned New York, the New York
Hmm.
Marathon, but the most senior gentleman individual that finished was 91 years old, man. 91. And what I read about what makes that story even more beautiful is that he didn't start his running journey until he was 70. He did not begin his
Oh
running journey until
man.
he was 70. I was like, that is beautiful.
So
He
what is I know this is your podcast, but I'm gonna take over for a second. What what does that mean? What does that mean for you? What does that
but
mean to you and
to
for you?
me, man, that I mean, the body is a beautiful thing and we can do hard things. We can do
Mm,
hard things. And for me, I'm going to do this until I just physically can't no more, man. I've been
mm,
extremely blessed and fortunate. I have not had an injury
right. God bless.
since I began my running journey. Absolutely,
Amen.
and I'm gonna go till I can. I'm gonna go till I can until I need to shift gears and do something else. This is medicina to me. This is my form of prayer. This
Mm,
is how I receive strength and joy. Is in this space.
mm.
And I'll start it with the walk to Earth, Wind, and Fire, man. All started with the walk.
Wow.
All started with the walk, bro.
You will
So
walk into Earth, Wind, and Fire. Which song?
yeah, keep your head to the sky. Keep your head to the sky. Yeah,
Mm,
it could have been, I mean, any more symbolic. This was in a very dark and cloudy space. Had a living in DC at the time.
hmm.
Home and just needed to get out from behind my desk. And
And
just
Philip Bailey got you.
barely got me.
That he got you.
Barely got me, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's how the journey began for me. That's how
Okay.
this journey began.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, brother.
I'm gonna give you your podcast back now. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Appreciate the
Mhm,
question.
mhm,
Appreciate the
mhm,
question.
mhm.
So, Emmanuel, you wear a lot of hats. You're a
Yeah,
father. You're a dope father. You're a dope husband and
appreciate that.
partner.
Mm,
You're a community leader. You're a board member.
yeah.
You're an administrator.
Hmm.
And we often hear from not only our own communities and village, but others. I don't have
Hmm.
time to focus on wellness, fitness, prayer, attend to self for that matter. How do you do it, brother? How do you prioritize what is important in your life? Wellness, familia, career, fatherhood, partnerhood, husband. How do you do it, bro?
Oh, I was horrible at it early on.
Mm,
Because society will dictate. I mean, again, we're people of a certain age, so you don't sleep is a cousin to death.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
uh, whatever that is, right? So the idea of work was dictated by your productivity
Right.
and your what you were willing to sacrifice of the
Mm,
self. And listen, I'm blessed to have such a wonderful wife where I think it was 5 or 7 years in, no longer than, yeah, 5 to 7 years in, she's like, yeah, this whole idea of like working through lunch, what are you doing?
mm,
Bringing home work with you and not having boundaries, like professional boundaries,
yeah.
where you wake up, you're answering the phone. Um, you're going to bed on phone or trying to like figure out solve someone else's problems. How is it possible that you are doing that at an effective level if you're not nurturing the self? And it took a lot of practice. So she didn't just say it, and I'm like, oh, got it.
Right.
It took years of practice of putting professional boundaries together to protect myself so
Mm.
that I could serve to my best ability. And still, it's something that I do to this day. So part of it is to change narratives for my children.
Right.
So um, I wake up every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. Uh, the idea of waking up is to give myself the time and the space to center myself.
Mm-hmm.
Then I cook breakfast for my daughter who's going to high school, a freshman in high school. We sit, we fellowship together. What that does is it gives me the ability to create in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
to again, process of kind of centering myself. She goes to the bus stop during warm weather. I
Mm-hmm.
jump on the bike, and pour into myself. And then by the time I'm ready to go to the office, or even tap into my wife, which again, we're having a check-in and a centering conversation. Once I get outside, um, I'm so fortified in who I am as a person that yeah, I can deal with most things.
Mm.
And then when I can't, because I have a weekly session with my therapist, I have tools to identify the issues, the triggers, the anxiety, and to regulate.
Mm.
I have the ability to know what I'm in control of and what I'm
Right.
not.
Right.
I radically accept the things that I'm not in control of.
Mm-hmm.
I do my best to address the things that I am in control of and remain on my square from to the best of my ability until it's time to reset and do it again if God presents the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so to the point of the 91-year-old marathon runner, you should never stop growing and
That's right.
changing and evolving.
That's right.
And so I will continuously work on pouring into myself in a very balanced between the selfish and selfless manner
Mm-hmm.
to prioritize myself in a way that I could serve my wife, then my children. Well, first serve God, my wife, my children, and
Mm-hmm.
my community. Um, Creating this like reciprocal relationship, right?
Yeah.
God gives me life. I pour life into the self, therefore pouring the energy in, energy returns, and you just keep going.
Love it, brother. Love it. I appreciate that. Appreciate that perspective. And I cannot help but to think about how you arrive in these spaces, both
Yeah.
professionally, spiritually, at home, as a partner and as a father,
Hmm.
but also in the community and in the wellness space as well. And from your response, I cannot help but to think about how important representation is, and I believe strong 100% in representation. As a movement enthusiast, that we belong in these spaces. We
Oh yeah.
absolutely belong in these spaces, and as we both are active in education as well as in
Hmm.
medicine and health, how do you show up as a role model, as an educator, as a
Ooh.
community member, but also in the wellness? How do you show up?
Mm. You try to show up as authentically as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you don't want to be too vulnerable, but I think we have a responsibility again to be the best versions of ourselves, and you can't do that from by pouring it from an empty cup. So
Right.
I even think it's beyond responsibility, and some may argue this, but I think there's an obligation.
Mm.
Um, for me, a lot of the stuff that I do and the spaces that I show up in and I'm blessed to be a part of is twofold. I believe at this point in my life, I've learned to believe that I deserve it,
Mm,
right?
mhm,
I've worked for it. I've poured into myself. I am yielding the fruits of my labor and
mhm,
education and my desire to be a lifelong learner, my commitment to that. The other piece, I'm doing this for little Sean, for the little boy inside of me that questioned, man, why am I in this gym? Why did they invite me? See, you're not good enough. You missed the shot. You're
mm,
not, you're
yeah.
you're too slim thick. Right? Like I I do it for little Sean. And then I do it for old Sean, the guy that I haven't met yet, that I want to be around. I want to walk my daughters down there. I want to hold my grandchildren, my great grandchildren.
Yeah.
My grandfather lived till well into his 90s. I want
Mm,
to say 100, right? So the elders of my family, particularly in the Caribbean,
mhm,
are like, man, like they really have lived very full lives.
mm,
Foods that they ate, growing their own crops, like living a very whole and revolutionary lifestyle. And so
mm.
if I can do the preventative work to get to that
That's
space,
right. That's
then
right.
I deserve that too,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
So the only way I could do that is by working at it and being authentic.
mm.
And maybe if I show up to the space as my authentic self, that gives the next version of me, the next iteration of me, uh, to permission to show up as themselves. And then slowly but surely, as the folks begin to do it like we do it, it starts to remove these veils of
That's right.
oppression
That's right.
that we exist in, and humanity gets leveled out a little bit.
Mhm.
And so it's my contribution. I think it's our contribution to just making the world just a slightly better place if we continue to pour in ourselves and develop these reciprocal relationships.
100, man. I believe in all that you shared. I do want to just echo the obligation piece because I subscribe to that as well. But the obligation stands out to me because something I picked up from my indigenous and native brothers and sisters, being a good relative
Mm.
to those around us, our community, our village, our brothers and sisters, but also being a good future ancestor. That's something that stands out to me because so many that came before us, we stand on those shoulders, right?
Hmm.
Of civil rights giants, but also the local folks that survived these spaces when they were
Hmm.
not welcome, that they were segregated, that lived through just a disgusting time in
Yeah.
the US and survived and made
Hmm.
do and paved the way and kicked down doors for us to have this chance that we're having this conversation. So
That's right.
it is an obligation to me as a brown man, as a Chicano, as a Mexican American male to do the same for those that are right behind me, for my nieces and
That's
nephews,
it.
for my
That's
community
right.
that's looking at me like that young Mark. It's exactly what you said. Like, so they can have this opportunity, whether it's in school, whether it is on the playground, whether it is signing up for that race or that bike ride
That's right.
or that gym, man. So that they have the opportunity. I do belong in this gym. I can go lift.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can practice yoga, and that's all right,
You
man.
could do.
So
I could do Pilates. I could whatever it is
whatever it is, brother.
because I deserve to be well.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
deserve to have good health.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right, brother. That's right. So what to that point, what words of wisdom do you have for our gente, our brothers and sisters who are watching and listening, who have not began their journey, their health journey, their wellness journey,
Um.
or they're feeling stuck?
Um. Man. So I think it's simple. Um. For those that are feeling stuck, you have to ask yourself the question: Do you deserve joy? And if your answer is yes, then it's not something that comes to you. You have to go fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
Fight for it might mean starting small. I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk around my coffee table 10 times. From that, I'm going to get up and go outside and I'm going to move up and down the sidewalk. And as you navigate through the pains that you may be experiencing, excuse me, which you are experiencing is pain, but it is also growth. And if you embrace that, man, just think about where it could take you. So we have to ask ourselves the question, do we deserve joy? And when that answer is yes, be courageous and brave enough to go fight for it. And that's what I ask myself every day.
Mm,
And so I may not jump on the Peloton tomorrow, but I owe myself something.
mhm,
So I gotta, I at least gotta stretch. I gotta
mhm,
move.
mhm.
I owe it because I gotta fight for the joy. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Appreciate that, man, and
Yeah.
agree 100 again, and that we have to fight for joy, for the love to pour into ourselves, as you said earlier. I want to echo
Hmm.
that again, bring that back, because I believe we not only reclaiming these spaces because our ancestors, our elders practiced this when they could,
Hmm.
whether it was walking, hiking, cycling, running for that matter, when they could,
Hmm.
we were practicing these spaces. This is in our culture, this is in our blood, right? And so it
Hmm.
is a revolutionary act to practice and find that joy, right? To find that self love. It is a revolutionary act to reclaim these spaces that we have practiced for generations. And
Yeah,
now we are here, we are where we are, so we can pay it forward, but also practice not only preventative care, brother, but again, emphasizing the joy and self love that we deserve.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, self-care is a revolutionary act. Also, on a more humorous note, the times that we live in, you better go watch I Am Legend. And if you can't pull yourself up off of something, you see what that brother Will Smith was doing. You better, we're not far from that, brother. You better, you better get right. So, those are the kind of thoughts too, man. I ask myself, like, brother, if you had to run right now, could you do it? Sometimes that answer is nah, fam. So, you know, the idea of people need to stop saying they need to get in shape because round is a shape, and
It
you
is.
need to start you need to start getting healthy and well.
That's right.
Mhm.
Getting healthy and well. Getting healthy and well. 100. 100. So tell me, bro. Tell me what comes to mind when you hear or see Movement as Medicina, man. What comes to mind for you?
You know, when I first saw the logo, I'm not gonna front like this is my first time. When I first saw the logo, it's two pronged. Um, First saw the logo, what I paid attention to was the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about the freedom of flight. I'm a thinker, so I thought
Mm-hmm.
about the freedom of flight and how intentional that is to put those wings there, because it is freedom to
Mm-hmm.
be again the idea of movement. And then the medicina, I remember seeing when I was in Spain,
Mm-hmm.
and it was. We were in a moment, we went to a pharmacy because one of my students wasn't feeling well. Took 12 kids to traverse the Andalusian or Iberian Peninsula to travel the history of the Moors.
Yeah.
So we're doing like 9 cities in 10 days, and she wasn't feeling well. Saw the pharmacy in Medicina, and I was immediately what clicks in my mind in that moment is resources. So
Mm.
freedom of movement and the resources at the bottom to support that. Um, I think it's extremely powerful, bro.
Thank
So
you.
it wasn't you, it was Rosie that came up with it. So shout out to Rosie. You just, you make it look good, but I know the brains behind the operation. No, you
Uh,
guys you're doing great. You're doing great.
I will not deny or confirm that statement, brother.
Hmm. Listen, man, listen. Long as the bags come to the same address, we're good.
That's it.
Mhm.
Fam, I asked my previous guest to give me a
Mhm.
question for my next guest. And
Mhm.
here's a question they asked me to pose to my next guest. So here we go.
Mhm. Mhm.
Tell us a time during your wellness and health journey that you wanted to quit and give up. What kept you going?
Man, after the tour of the Bronx, um, and how horrible I felt, and physically and mentally. Um, I said, man, cycling isn't for me. I'm bugging.
Mm,
And
mm,
I didn't ride my bike for like, so you went into the winter season because the tour of the Bronx is um late October. So it's a little chilly.
mhm.
So you closed it out. And when it was time to start riding again, I still didn't ride till late in the summer.
Okay.
Excuse me, because I just didn't have the confidence. I was really down on myself. And again, I'm not a liar, bro. I asked myself, I start to feel it, right? You start to
Mm.
feel slow and maybe your pants don't fit. Again, we slim, thick brothers. All it takes is a couple of cheat days to turn into cheat weeks. And then, right, that slim shirt that you like to buy don't fit right no more. So the button coming out around the belly button, and that's the moment you're like, nah, I don't deserve this. I deserve for my shirt
Mhm.
to fit
Mhm.
proper. I deserve to feel good. I deserve, how do I arrive at that? I need to go fight for it. And then I started getting back into it.
Mm.
So that was probably lately one of the darkest moments. And again, I lean into my partner that's just like, yo, fam, your body's starting to hurt.
Yeah,
You gotta address that because that's not joy. You deserve to exist
that's
in
right.
a healthy manner and a good
That's
quality
right.
of life.
That's
So
right. That's
yeah,
right.
shout out to her.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
On the flip side, give me a question for my next guest, brother. Give me another question. A question around wellness, around health, around mental health.
So what we used to ask our guests was for them to define legacy in their own words,
Mhm.
and then define. So how do you define legacy? What is legacy to you, and what do you want to leave behind? Right?
Love that. Well, Sean, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate your
Oh
time.
man,
I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate
hmm
you being a guest and dropping some knowledge on our
thank you.
for our listeners, for our viewers. You are definitely sacred and a blessing, brother. I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed and we stay connected. I look
Mhm.
forward to continue to build with you,
Yeah,
alongside you, in the work that
yeah.
we do for our communities and education as well. I'm truly grateful for your time, brother. So constantly
Uh,
inspired by
that-
you. Keep building, brother. Keep building.
you do the same, man. I like the idea of saying I'm sacred. I've never been called. I've been called a lot of stuff, but not that. And so I return that, man. Thank you for having me here. Huge shout out to what you're doing. It's amazing. You are accomplished, and I just appreciate what you bring to every single space. You are a blessing, brother. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Where can the gente find you? Where can the people find you? IG, LinkedIn.
Oh,
Where would you like to be found, bro?
so IG is S.Hewitt. That's SDOTHEWITT. LinkedIn, you could just look up Sean Hewitt, SeanHewitt. Please feel free to connect, drop a line, shoot a request. Also, don't be weird. And I look forward to connecting with everybody.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And
Thank you.
quickly, shout out to Tribe for the connectors for
Word.
bringing us together. Shout out to Tribe, my
Yes.
man.
So, yeah. Yes.
Want to
Thank you.
give them some flowers, brother. Appreciate them bringing us together. Looking forward to it again, building with you. Mi gente,
Yeah.
my people, remember, please recognize your dopeness. We are all dope,
Mm.
educated individuals, fam. Like this episode, ask us questions, give us feedback. Follow me on IG at SuperMarkRock or on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts at Movement Es Medicina. Mi gente, appreciate your time. Appreciate you
Yeah.
supporting us. Gracias. Paz y luz.
Peace.